Welcome everybody back to the Shawn Davis Show. Had some technical difficulties there trying to get everything up and lined up, trying to get everything ready to go here. Had Could get the webcam to come on. Anybody ever have any trouble like that? Can get the webcam to come on? Yeah, is what it is. Welcome everybody back. This is episode 5. We were discussing 3 stories of something in Lake Cumberland. Don't know what it was. Don't know if anybody else has any strange stories about Lake Cumberland or not, but if you do, you can drop us a line in the comments section, contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or send us an email at t_ShawnDavis@hotmail.com. You have something you've seen in your lake, your area, reach out to us. We'll tell your story. We'll share your information. Share your story, not your information. I'll get that straight. But the first story comes from when I was a child, and I don't know that it was. I don't know if it's true. I don't know anything about it other than just what I was told as a kid. And this is a conversation I sat in on another guy and my dad's conversation. What had happened was a houseboat had sunk on Lake Cumberland, and the owners had said whoever can get it out can have it because it was never going back out on that lake ever again. Now, some of this is probably speculation. Don't really know what happened. Don't know if someone got sick and they ran aground because they didn't know what else to do. Don't really know for sure. This is back in the sometime after 1985, before 1990, and this is the story as I remember it, sitting around my parents' kitchen table. Anyway, supposedly there was a houseboat they were trying to get up that had sunk on Lake Cumberland. The owners were from out of state. I don't remember where. Supposedly an elderly couple. And this was the rumor that floated around. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. Anybody knows for sure if it's true, let us know in the comments section below. Reach out to us. I'd like to know if there's anything to this story or not. But the thing is, they gave a houseboat away to whoever can get it up. And I don't know if you know anything about houseboats, but they've never been cheap. And suppose this was a good houseboat, but they ran it aground and said, whoever can get it can have it. Basically, when you run a houseboat aground, you sink it because the back end, if the lake level goes down, the boat will land and stay on the bank. It'll go down as the water goes down. But when the water comes back up, the boat does not raise. Water comes back in over the back of the boat because it's already lost its buoyancy. And, it's sitting at an angle so the water doesn't raise it up. It goes over the back. So it causes the boat to sink. It causes damage. But supposedly late one night, back in the 80s, an elderly couple from out of state was on their houseboat, and they were down in one part of the holler somewhere, and something spooked them, as rumor has it. Something spooked them, and they ran their houseboat aground and evacuated the boat, heading up the hill, up the holler, to the nearest road, to the nearest house, and where they could get help. And said they were never returning back to that lake. Didn't want that houseboat. They were never going back out on that lake again. What did they see? Nothing has ever been described that I know of. I don't even know if the story's true or not. It could have just been fabricated, and somebody could have just got drunk, which happens a lot down the lake, and ran the houseboat aground and was too embarrassed to just say, hey, I don't know how to drive a houseboat, or I was drinking and, crashed the boat and don't want to get in trouble by the water patrol or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what the truth is about it. This is all I know is this story. And supposedly it happened, you know, close to Carter's Dock. Uh, there's two more stories related to Carter's Dock. One was by my step uncle, who was out fishing late one night back in the 80s, early 90s. And as he returned in from fishing, uh, he seen something he didn't like down there in that holler to go out. So he went back out on the main lake and stayed on the main lake and would not go in until daylight. I don't know. I don't know if that's he never told me that story, but I was relaying something I seen. I'm going to tell that story here in a minute to a friend of mine, and he's the one who told me that story, and uh, he finished it up by saying a lot of people have seen something on that lake. But when you ask people if they've seen something on that lake, no one really wants to tell you anything about it. Nobody wants to say nothing. They're all tight-lipped because, well, no one wants to look crazy. And heck, I'm nearly 50 years old. I mean, who cares anymore, right? Who cares? But was there something out there on the lake in those days? I don't know. Was somebody pulling a prank, scaring people, keep people from going in, or was it somebody doing something down the lake, like growing pot along the bank shores and trying to run people off at night so they could take care of their dope? I mean, who knows? Could be 100 explanations, a lot of serious explanations, and a lot of, what ifs. Could be people's imagination seeing things. Could have been doing drugs or alcohol involved. Don't know. But that brings me back to my story of Carter's Dock. And I don't know if I told this on here before or not, but I'll tell it again because we're talking about Lake Cumberland and the whatever it is that we seen there. We excuse me. We went down there one night and there's a carload of us. There was at least two girls and 2 to 3 guys. I'm thinking there's 3 guys, and I think my best friend was in my passenger seat. My other best friend was in the back seat with his girlfriend, along with my girlfriend. Excuse me, I'm pretty sure that's the way it was. But we pulled up Carter's Dock one night, and we were shining the headlights down there. We were just a bunch of high school kids, out riding around having fun. Didn't want to go home. Nothing to do at home. Nothing to do anywhere else. We didn't drink or nothing like that. So, or do drugs or anything. So we're running around those that did. We were pretty clean cut, kids. So we were out there and just riding around, doing what country kids do. You get out and you ride around, you go to the lake. It's just what you do. Something peaceful and soothing about the lake. Just peaceful and the stars, and get away from the lights of town and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we pull up down there on the boat ramp, going down to the water, and I was driving a early 90s model Cavalier C24 and 5-speed. We pull up down there and we're going down, down the boat ramp up to the edge of the water. And we see something going down the lake. And at first I thought it was a boat with a big, huge, like a sail or something, like a, small sailboat, because there is small sailboats on Lake Cumberland. And thought maybe it had a light or something on top of it. I didn't really know what it was. Like maybe they put a light on top of the mast or whatever it is that sticks up, that the sail runs across. And as this thing's going down across the lake in front of us, and we just happened up down there. We hadn't been down there very long at all. And this thing just started passing by about halfway in between the boat ramp and the bluff. There's a bluff across from me at Carter's Dock. And my best friend said, "What is that?" And I said, I have no idea. He said, flip your lights on high beam. So I flipped my lights up on high beam, looked at it, and worst thing was when we did that, turned and came straight towards us. And it wasn't a light on top. It was like two big freaking red eyes. And had a mouthful of teeth, is glaring white. Have no idea what this thing was. Big, huge eel. I don't know. I don't know. This thing was about six, 6 or 7 foot out of the water, maybe higher. And this thing turned and came straight towards us. And when it did, the girls screamed in the back seat. Uh, everybody's like, "Get out of here!" And everybody's like tripping out. I grabbed reverse and dumped the clutch, and I just sit there and I put it on the floor. And I don't know why I put it on the floor, but I did. I put it on the floor, and my car started. It was front wheel drive Cavalier, started hopping, 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 hopping. And we started bouncing all the way down towards the water. And finally, I started slipping my clutch. When I did that, man, we shot back up the bank. But I'm like, oh my God, I tore my clutch plumb out of my car. But I couldn't think straight enough to get my foot off the gas enough to ease back up the hill properly. I just like, get out of here, is where this thing was coming straight for us. I have no idea what this thing was. Never seen nothing like it before in my life. Never seen nothing like it again. Uh, I don't even know if I'd believe myself if, my ex-wife and, and other people like that weren't with me. I would probably never believe it myself. But, I don't know. They may have different versions of the story. I don't know. I'd like to know what their versions are because I've never talked about it since with them because of that. Just because it was, don't know what the heck it was. What are you supposed to say about something you don't know what the heck it is, leaves you more questions than answers. Let's do a quick search here for those of you who are not aware of Lake Cumberland. Give you a little bit of information on that. Quick Google search here, pull it up. Google, boom. Then we have a reference point to see how big Lake Cumberland is. It's not the biggest lake in Kentucky, but it's a pretty big lake. There's Resort Park. Is it safe to swim in Lake Cumberland? One of the most popular swimming beaches is at Lake Cumberland State Resort Park, where there is a sandy beach and is also known for getting a few ways. If you plan to go swimming at the lake, remember to swim to your abilities as there will be no lifeguards on duty. Okay, let's look at this. Lake Cumberland is a reservoir in Clinton, Pulaski, Russell, Wayne, and Laurel counties in Kentucky. The primary reasons for its constructions were a means for flood control and the production of hydroelectric power. The area is 102.4 miles. It is 101.3 miles long. The surface elevation is 7,200 feet. Shore length is 1,255 miles. Has a width of 5,249 feet. It's got fish, striped bass, walleye, sauger, rainbow trout, brown trout, lake trout. And it's got catfish in there too. Catfish, bluegill, crappie, all that kind of stuff. The cities include Somerset, Jamestown, Burnside, Monticello, and Russell Springs. It's created by the Wolf Creek Dam. This lake is a popular fishing and boating destination. So that gives you a little background on Lake Cumberland. It says its max depth is 197 feet. The average depth is 90 feet. The average water volume is 6,089,000 acres. Yeah, it's pretty big. Pretty big lake. Pretty big lake. There's anything else? History of the lake. Uh, Lake Cumberland was impounded from the Cumberland River by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. Construction of the Wolf Creek Dam in 1952. Wolf Creek Dam is the 25th largest dam in the United States, and it cost $15 million to construct originally, with an additional $65 million needed almost immediately to fix problems, which soon became apparent as it's estimated that the dam has prevented more than $5 million in flood damage since its construction. In 1967, a leak was found at Wolf Creek Dam. Repairs were made in the late 1970s at a cost of $96 million. Uh, January 2007, United States Army Corps of Engineers began lowering the water level in Lake Cumberland, fearing possible breach in Wolf Creek Dam. Water seepage had eroded limestone underneath the dam, creating a potential for breach and subsequent flood that would cause damages to the billions of dollars of cities downstream. Putting water go all the way down to hit Nashville. Let's see. There's all kinds of docks and marinas. There's Grider Hill, Beaver Creek, Lake Cumberland State Resort Park, Jamestown, Wolf Creek Marina, Alligator Indian Hills Resort, Leeds Ford Marina, Burnside Island State Park, Omega Dock, Marina, Conley Bottom are the major ones. And there's also Fall Creek. But there's numerous places to get in. That's the big ones. Let's see. Statistics. Really nothing else. But this just to show you that nothing really of interest, nothing really else of interest there. But you can just a little bit of information so that you know how big Lake Cumberland really is. And could it be possible that something could hide in there for a little while? Maybe not very. There's been different things caught in the lake. What was it? Back in the 90s, I believe it was, they caught a piranha out of Lake Cumberland. There's also a gar and other things in there that snap and bite. I'm sure numerous snakes. But anyway, on to the last story. And this is another one that I personally encountered, personally seen. Me and one of my buddies was down at the lake. We were hunting copperheads this summertime, and it's dry, so we thought, well, can't find no snakes around on the roads to kill. We'll go down here to the lake, and so we can't find some down here on the lake, go into water or something. Because usually when it gets really dry, snakes will find water. And we went down there to a place called F&T, and we were driving around the banks, real slow, looking for snakes with spotlights and stuff out the side of our truck windows. And as we come around the point, coming back to the left from the boat ramp, I seen some coons playing over on the bank, and they were acting really crazy. They were jumping straight up in the air, and they were bouncing around. They were running down to the water, and they were smacking the water, and they were running back up the bank, and they'd run right back down to the water, and they'd smack the water, and they'd jump up in the air, and just, they're acting plumb crazy. Now, I was a guy who grew up coon hunting, and reading about coon hunting, watching coon hunting, went coon hunting, loved coon hunting. I'd never in my life seen coons act like that. Now I know coons act crazy sometimes. They can do all kinds of silly things, and they're really unique little creatures when you get to thinking about it. But whatever this thing was, or whatever these coons was acting the way, and so strangely, I'd never seen anything about it. So I hollered at my buddy and said, "Hey, look at those coons, man! They're going plumb crazy. What are they doing over there?" I start shining that light on them, and my buddy's like, "Huh." So I ain't worried about those coons. I'm worried about what they're running from on that bank. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, Look what I'm looking at, my spotlight." So I looked down there, I threw my spotlight on him. Now I don't have no idea what this thing is, but this thing could have been a car. It could have been something down there at F&T, like a car. To me, it looked like you had sunk a Volkswagen Bug, and it had for whatever reason, had come up to the top, had caught an air bubble or something, had come up to the top, and just the top of the hood, not the hood, but the cab of the Volkswagen Bug was up above water, and then it went back down. And when it went back down, the coons run off, but I don't know if it's a big, huge catfish, because there's rumors of catfish the size of cars in Lake Cumberland that lay on the bottom. Divers and stuff have reported that for a long time. I don't know. I've never seen them. Not even seen pictures of them. Have no idea what this thing was. I don't know if somebody had just sunk a car down there for insurance or what. No idea what this thing was or anything about it. Only thing I know what it was. The only thing I know about it was we both seen it with flashlights. It was there just for a few seconds, maybe a minute, and it went right back down underneath the water, not to be seen again. Air bubbles come up from it like it was something sinking. I don't know how they would have got a car over there on that side of the bank, because it's the opposite side. We went to the left, but it kind of comes back in like in a little draw, then comes back this way, but it's really steep over here. I don't know how they would have got a car over there. I don't know if somebody was in it or not. If it was a car, I don't know. I don't know what it was. At that time, could have been anything. We really thought it was a turtle. To be honest with you, thought it was a big catfish or a turtle. Don't really think it was a car, but I'm just looking at any possible explanation. Reasonable explanation. No idea what it was. None whatsoever. But it was there, and then it was gone. Went straight down. I don't really think the water was deep enough there, though, to have hit a car. And, so I don't really know what it was. If it was a car, when the lake went down in 2007, when they dropped the lake levels down so low, it would have definitely showed up then if it was a car. But I know no reports of it being a car. So there you have it. That's my 2 lake stories and 2 rumors. We don't know anything about it. Don't know if it's real or not. Don't know what's out there. But if you've seen something on Lake Cumberland, right now it's boating season. Right now it's time to look for it. You can, if you see something out there, let us know. I'd like to know what you've seen too. Ain't gonna make fun of you. Ain't gonna call you crazy. I ain't gonna release your name if you don't want your name released. I ain't gonna say nothing about who you are, nothing like that. But the thing is, we seen something there on 2 different occasions. Have no stinking clue what it was or what it is. And they were clearly not the same thing. Whatever the thing I seen the first time in the early 90s was not the same thing I seen in the late 90s. It was not the same thing. Because whatever this thing was in the 90s, the first time, was sticking way up out of the water and had red glowing eyes. And turned and looked and headed right straight for us when it seen us. As soon as our spotlights, or as soon as our headlights hit it, it turned and came right straight towards us. This thing, we shined headlights and spotlights on it. It went underneath the water. My buddy that was with me thought it might have been a big turtle or a big catfish that was trying to eat a coon. Probably the coons come down there washing their food or their hands or whatever because they don't have no saliva glands. So he's down there eating or drinking or whatever. And this thing come up and tried to eat one, or maybe did eat one. And that's what they thought it, that was his idea. And he could have been right. I don't know. It could have been a big, huge fish. Big, huge fish and ate them, or, a big, huge turtle. And ate it. Big, huge mud turtle. But if it was maybe one of those Galapagos turtles. I mean, this sucker was huge. I don't know how you'd have a turtle that big on Lake Cumberland and not be able to find it, or not, only see it on one occasion. But anyway, there you have it, folks. Thank you all for listening. And thank everybody on Spotify, Thank you, everybody on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, TikTok. Thank you, everybody, Google Podcast, Breaker, Pocket Cast, uh, all the different platforms that we're on now. Just want to thank everybody for listening on those, and appreciate your all support. I'm coughing a lot. I'm choked up today, but we really thank you all, and thank everybody overseas that's listening to the podcast. Really appreciate your listening to us. And if you have any stories you'd like to share, email them to me at t_ShawnDavis@hotmail.com. Reach out to us here in the comments section. Tell us your story. We'll talk about it on the line. If you'd like to be on our show, reach out to us. We'll put you on the podcast. I have no way of doing a podcast right now where I can put the viewer on unless you're in the studio with me. And we could do that, but you may rather do it over the phone, and that's fine with me too. But that'd be the primary way I do podcasts will be over the phone. I want to thank you all for listening and joining in. Please like, share, and comment, and tell others about us. That's the best way you can help us right now, especially the podcast on Spotify. We really are getting close to getting our monetization back on Spotify, and we really need to get that back and recuperate some of the money we spend doing this show. It's not free, believe it or not. It's not entirely free. All this equipment costs money, and every time you turn around, you're trying to upgrade a little bit, make it a little bit better, so you sound a little more professional and do things a little bit better. And it is what it is, But it's a pretty fun hobby, and plus, it gets my mind off of life. But sometimes things that happen in your life just really, really suck when they don't go your way. You know what I mean? They really, really do. So, a person needs a little form of escapism, getting out of looking at different things in the world, strange things. Get your mind off the crap you have to deal with every day, the appreciating dollar and everything else. But anyway, well, thank you all for listening. God bless. Y'all have a great weekend. Next weekend's Father's Day. Make sure you do something special for your father. We always say do something special for your mom. Mothers are terrific and all. And then I love my mom very much, but our dads are the ones that, and me being a dad, I know you give up everything you want for your family. You let go of everything you have, and you put your life on hold from the time those little ones are born up until they're grown, gone off building their own life. Everybody says, "Oh, that man, he's getting his second childhood or whatever." No, his kids have just grown. He's finally getting to buy the truck he's wanted for years. He's getting to buy the shotgun he's wanted for years. He's getting to be able to go see some things he wanted to see for years that he put on hold so he could get things to his wife and his kids. And they call it midlife crisis or whatever. No, that guy's just spent the last 20 years of his life or longer, 28 in mine, putting aside everything he wants for the betterment of his family. And that's what it is. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Remember, you can't support and love yourself. When you're loving other people, don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to love them also, but don't forget to love yourself. Put yourself first every once in a while. Because I guarantee you, if you're not putting yourself first, no one else will. No one else will. It's the truth. I love y'all. God bless. Thank you.